COVID and the new variants. Why the new variant Omicron is so dangerous. Just when the entire world was trying to return to normalcy, children were preparing to start going to schools and offices were resuming, a new variant of coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 B.1.1.529 variant is discovered in Botswana in South Africa. The new variant, which has been called as Omicron by WHO, has created an alert situation once again on the entire globe. The variant at present has been found in Australia with 6 cases, Botswana 19 cases, Canada 3 cases, Denmark and Israel 2 cases, Germany and Italy 4 cases, Hong Kong 3 cases, Netherlands and the United Kingdom 14 cases, Portugal 13 cases, South Africa 77 cases, Austria, Belgium, Spain, Japan, France, Czech Republic and Sweden 1 case. In South Africa, the epidemiological situation has been marked by 3 different peaks in reported cases, the most recent of which was dominated by the Delta strain. Infections have risen sharply in recent weeks, corresponding with the discovery of the B.1.1.529 strain. A specimen collected on November 9, 2021 was the first reported verified B.1.1.529 infection. This variant has a large number of mutations, some of which are concerning. Preliminary evidence suggests an increased risk of reinfection with this variant as compared to other variants of concern. The number of cases of this variant appears to be increasing in almost all provinces in South Africa. Current SARS-CoV-2 PCR diagnostics continue to detect this variant. Several labs have indicated that for one widely used PCR test, one of the 3 target genes is not detected, called S-gene dropout or S-gene target failure, and this test can therefore be used as a marker for this variant, pending sequencing confirmation. Using this approach, this variant has been detected at faster rates than previous surges in infection, suggesting that this variant may have a growth advantage. Why so many mutations? Now, despite having the same lockdown measures, infections in India and around the globe were still rising. In early November, the overall drop in cases led the country to relax restriction anyway, and then this happened. It wasn't until around this time that the researchers realized that somewhere the virus itself is evolving. There are new variants being detected which are more contagious than the previous one and are spreading at a faster rate. Lately, more and more variants are emerging in various places around the world. So why are they showing up now? Viruses are very simple. They're basically just a shell of protein surrounding some genetic material, either DNA or RNA. That genetic material is made up of molecules that can be represented as a series of letters. Each part of these codes contain instructions for how to make one specific protein that allows the virus to function. A virus has one goal: to make more of itself. But a virus cannot replicate alone, so it uses you, a human cell. Every time a virus infects a person, it uses their cells to make copies of itself, replicating its complex code again and again and again. But eventually, it makes a mistake. While replicating, sometimes it deletes or adds a letter, or sometimes it flips around. This mistake is called a mutation, and it slightly changes the instructions for making the virus that is known as a variant. Some variants emerge and disappear, while others may emerge and persist. Since viruses are constantly going through this copying process, it's normal for them to change over time. In the case of coronavirus, this chart shows some of the mutations made since December of 2019. Most of the time, these mutations are harmless or even make the virus weaker, and they quietly disappear without making any notable difference. But sometimes, the mutations that occur give a slight edge over us. And this came into the notice of the scientists with SARS-CoV-2, which is the Delta virus, back in September 2020. Coronavirus is coated with spike proteins that they use to bind with and infect human cells. Sometimes the binding isn't a perfect fit and so it fails to enter the human cell. But in the case of COVID's B.1.1.7 variant, which scientists later renamed as Alpha variant, has multiple mutations of spike proteins. Mutations that easily bind with the human cells and make the virus more transmissible. So far, 4 variants of COVID have been discovered by the World Health Organization. Alpha B.1.1.7, Beta B.1.351, Gamma P1, and Delta B.1.6.1.7.2. Delta is the most recent one and also referred as a double mutant. Delta rapidly became the dominant variant of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in the US in 2021. It is known as double mutant because while it has many different mutations, it has 2 significant ones which were never seen before. L452R. This mutation makes the virus more transmissible, while this E484Q mutation, which was seen in Beta and Gamma, makes it easier to reinfect people who have already had COVID-19. This means that these mutations have managed to dodge our natural immune response. Fortunately, the immune response we get from the vaccines is much stronger than our body's natural immune system. So, while we see variants that make our vaccines somewhat less effective, most experts think that it is unlikely that one will emerge that completely evades our vaccine. But this doesn't give a complete surety. As long as the virus continues to spread, it will continue to replicate and learn to dodge the hurdle that the vaccines have created. So in order to stop the variants, we need to stop the virus from spreading. The virus has evolved, but it hasn't morphed into something untraceable. The only cure we have right now is the vaccines, which protect us against all the variants. The problem here is that we aren't getting enough of those vaccines around the world fast enough. Unfortunately, this is giving the virus more and more time to change and spread its arms across the globe. The spike in COVID cases is a reminder that the pandemic isn't over. We need to stop this and make sure that everyone amongst us is vaccinated.